you about my favorite purchase all year long and an amazing purchase for the pandemic. The Stefani water filter. This is a Brazilian water filter that is made out of terracotta with a plastic lid to match it, and I'm trying to match the terracotta clay. There is really not a lot of information available in North America or in the English language about this. I was looking for it, so that's why I'm making this video with a tutorial and just kind of description of the product, how I've liked it. I've had it since maybe March. And here's the issues that I had when trying to find clean and healthy water for myself and my family. I hate Brita, it's ugly, I hate the plastic, I don't want to pay money to a huge corporation. I've considered those under sink filters, but I think that's kind of like BS because I don't want in the pandemic, I don't want some person climbing under my sink to put something in there. I think those are really expensive and I don't really know how they work. But mostly expensive, and I don't like that I'm not in control of the maintenance. I think that's really ridiculously overpriced. And I'm not going to buy bottled water. Why would I do that? A look at the filter. This is the 8-liter. This is great for a household of 2, or somebody is, cooking, doing rice, pasta, soup, soaking beans, which is, I do that. I have swapped out to do the upgraded metal valve here. And I'm going to show you right now, since it's spilling. It's a little heart dishcloth that I knitted myself. Every day, in terms of maintenance for this guy, you do actually have to wipe it down like you wipe a counter. The minerals in the water will leach out of this. Now, why is a ceramic water filter nice? In Brazil, this is a very common filter. One of my Brazilian friends was like, oh, you got this? As a child, I remember drinking from this. The water was so delicious and I loved it. Also, I believe in Cambodia. It's very traditional to keep water in a ceramic jug for guests, for visitors, or just people walking by because it's hot there. One nice thing about having an Asian person in the household and a person who's not Asian who prefers ice water is that the water is actually pretty cool. Where do you have to store it in your house? A place where it will get a lot of air circulation, not in direct sunlight. The lady that I bought this from, Tracy at Inara's Apothecary, they have a really big old one, and you can see the patina is different. It's like, like an old clay pot, there's like stripes of white, it looks aged, and maybe there's some, I'm not going to say it's mold, but there's like black spots in it because the minerals leach out, and 2 days out of the week, they're not at the apothecary. So you actually do have to wipe this down. And I've noticed over the months when I wiped this down and left kind of the rag lying around, you could feel even that the minerals had hardened the towel or dish rag. So just make sure you clean it pretty much every day. The original tap that it comes with is this plastic click tap. So, and I just preferred the metal and I liked, using that. So this is just in case the other one breaks. There's a little washer. So you can see this is kind of like a spigot that we're securing and sealing the water with this silicone washer here. This is actually, 2 parts. So the upper chamber, which is this, I can lift it up, and then the lower chamber. So if you look beneath here, and I'll show more when I take this apart and clean it, you can see these 2, plastic discs. Those are floating discs to make sure that this water in the bottom chamber does not overflow. So when the bottom chamber is full, I'm going to hoist this on my shoulder, this float will be up and it will seal, because otherwise there's a little hole, I don't know if you can see it, the water will filter and drip out. And what's the system upon which this is filtered? All right. When I take this apart, you could see inside there's 2 ceramic water filters. I had to clean them because they're pretty dirty and the water's not filtering as well as I would like. It seems that I have to clean this every month or so. Maybe the water in Toronto is just filthy. 2 ceramic filters. Inside there's charcoal that filters out a whole bunch of impurities, etc. I like this. This is also a natural product. It's made of terracotta. Stefani is also a social enterprise, so they employ Brazilians. Whether it's disadvantaged or also disabled, I can't recall, but this is a social enterprise, so artisans are actually spinning this terracotta. And if you zoom in here on this spot by my finger, you'll see that like this isn't an imperfection, it's not damaged, that's just, you know, natural terracotta. And if you follow my finger up to the rim of this, I believe this is kind of some like mineral calcification coming up. I do try to wipe the rim inside, but I think this is mineral buildup, but don't be concerned about that. I will show you how to clean this and we'll cut to another video in a second. So here we are. I'm about to take this apart because this needs cleaning. You can see it's a little bit grimy, and you can see because there's a plastic ring, the water isn't filtering at the bottom, so I'm just going to dump it out. Okay, so I usually rest it on my lap, whether with a towel, and if you zoom in here, you'll see like when you're putting together or taking it apart, do not hold the white disc. You could snap it. And I understand like masculine men with tools have tried to over-engineer this and fuck it up. So, you know, just carefully twisting. I'll just set it aside. Okay, and then you can twist. My left hand is twisting from the inside, and you can see this washer is coming off. You can maybe see also there's a silicone washer to seal in the water. And I had an issue like a month ago where the bottom chamber actually overflowed, and the reason why is because I didn't, you know, put these as tight as possible. Okay, so I'm taking this out. You can see it's dirty. You can see the grime, right? And the way you clean this, I'll show you in a second, is that you want to take a butter knife and just scrub it under running water. You want to make sure it's running water so that all this gunk comes off. So you can see the ceramic chamber, plastic bottom, and then all this stuff inside that filters. This is a 6-month filter, and to be honest, this is probably the most economical water filter. You only change it every 6 months or more if your water is very dirty. You actually throw out the whole cylinder, but the nice thing is that all the contaminants contained inside the filter will be thrown away and will not enter the water system anymore. So I really love that. And we'll unscrew the other one. My left hand is inside, also turning. But first I got to take off the float lid. So you can see you have to hold it here. It even has little indentations for your finger. And you want to be careful with this one. I think you're also supposed to clean this like every month with vinegar, like these components, just for healthy freshness. All right. I'm unscrewing from the left, the inside. You can see this washer is coming off. Well, this, whatever, the bolt, the nut, I don't know, then the silicone washer, and bloop. Here we go. You can also see it is very filthy with algae or whatever, and we'll wash this in a second. All right, so you can also see, since I've removed it, inside my finger shadow. So I'm going to show you they're quite stuck on, the 2 washers that also seal the water here. So that's the interior chamber. I like to just give it a nice rinse with water. I'm going to also make one final point. Like when I first got this, the terracotta smell is really, really strong. It took me about a week, or it could take you like 14, 21 days, whatever, it doesn't matter, to run out the water so that this raw taste of terracotta doesn't come out. Like, it's fine. Just give it patience, and eventually, like, you know, it'll be fine. So have patience with that. All right, it's cleaning time. So you gotta have running water. And I just put vinegar. They say it's nice to clean it with vinegar. I don't really think these components are they're not as dirty as the cylinders, which I will show you. But for my due diligence, so you really just end up, you see that? It's coming off. One mistake I had made last month was, like, you can see that it's abraded. That's from me scraping, because I didn't know whether I had to really scrape off a layer of the ceramic or just, you know, it would suffice. It suffices that you can hear the noise and you can see that I'm scraping. I was scraping too hard last month. So you can see kind of what looks like grooves and teeth marks. The original kind of finish on it is actually quite smooth. And from my trial and error last month, because I thought I had to scrape off a layer of the ceramic, I don't really think that's necessary. As long as you clear most of this gunk off you'll see that some of it will still kind of remain, but of course, overall, your filter is going to be moving a lot better. So you always want that under running water because it will wash everything away. I'm gonna reassemble my cleaned ceramic filter. You see this? It's gonna go in the hole. The washer is down. Then I put the filter in, turn it on its side, a really nice tight seal. Oh fuck. I just broke it. I guess I need a new filter. Fine. So you can see this is charcoal, maybe coconut charcoal. I've just broken it. That's fine. Maybe it did. Fine. Let's. Gonna have to replace this. Thanks. BRB. All right. So since I broke this unceremoniously, because I twisted it too much, whoops. And I'm just gonna say, well, maybe it was just dirty. But you can see how it works, okay? So ceramic goes inside. This is filtered through the charcoal. And there's a little sieve that drips out. I'm so sorry I broke this, but luckily I have another one. And you can also see here, there's a grime on the inner cap that I didn't get, but so be it. RIP. All right, so I'm actually glad that the other filter broke so I can show you what happened. So packaged here, nice and pristine. Let's compare it to my old one. So fine, okay, nice and clean. Let me not break this. This is a triple action filter that filters out chlorine, bacteria. There's colloidal silver. There's coconut charcoal in here. When you replace a new filter, you have to filter out 12 liters of the water because, you know, you got to get it going. So if you had two, like I do, although this is an old one, then you would have to filter out at least 24 liters of water just before you can drink it. So use it for your house plants, whatever. I'm going to put this on its side, the washer. Hope you can see that. Let me tilt. And I will now carefully turn this so as not to damage a brand new Stefani filter. Okay, so this is finger tight. I'm tightening from the left side inside, just carefully, more gingerly. Now the float goes on. Careful. You don't want to touch the white part, just the more opaque plastic. And one tip when you are placing this float, it doesn't have to go all the way because it will be tight. So you can see that there's an inner rim here, right? Because this is where it sits on top of the bottom chamber. And this is what keeps the seal. I suspect that mine had been leaking about a month ago because I didn't put this tight enough. It doesn't have to go all the way. You just have to make sure that this white disc doesn't, like, it's not outside, because that's why yours might leak, because it's kind of interfering with the seal. So just making sure that the white disc is somewhere in the inner rim of the circle. Second filter goes in. Silicone washer. There's a clay side, which I just placed down. You can see it picks up the clay. Put it on its side again. Another washer. Great. Screwing this on carefully. I hope I don't break this one. I'm holding my left hand firm. This feels finger tight, and then I'm going to turn a little bit with the left hand inside. I think that's good enough. Seems tight enough. Then we'll put the float. So second float goes on. Again, carefully. You know, you don't need a screwdriver or anything, just your fingers. And again, when you have the two floats, you also want to make sure that they don't interfere, because sometimes when they like catch on each other, that's when you'll have a leak. When the water is dripping out, they'll come out this little hole. And then when the water at the bottom is nice and full, this will close. So that's what prevents it from leaking. So just be careful with those, and that's it. You really want to make sure they're in different directions. If they are in any contact or close to each other, they will not close properly because one might catch on the other. So make sure there's some distance. Carefully. And because one of the filters is new, I'm going to have to filter 12 liters out. if I had 2 new filters, I have to filter 24 liters out before I can drink it again. I really hate the taste of chlorine. And what else was I gonna say? Okay, so I'm back to give you one last tip. So actually I filled it to the brim. I can see that it's filtering pretty fast. It's already like, you know, like 2 inches down from the top. The water is flowing nice and fast. I have to drain like 12 liters of this because this is like an 8-liter reservoir. It's one tip that the Brazilians have for releasing the terracotta taste earlier, apparently, when you first own it, because the water will taste very strong. What I had done to not waste is like brush my teeth with it, water your plants, like don't waste it. So apparently what you can do is scrub the filter or scrub the inside with like sugar. Apparently that might be a hot tip. Other than that, that's about it. Hopefully, I hope you order one because I love this. It's the cheapest water filter out there, does the best, and isn't really a corporation, so I love it. Brazilian water filter, Stefani. If you want to see more weird product reviews from all the things that I enjoy, like and subscribe.